prestigious Monterey Historic Races that took place at Laguna Seca in August 2002 were a fabulous celebration of the Corvette Marque's 50th anniversary.
I'm Bob Barsha. This year, the featured marque is Corvette. Let's get right to our story now with Brock Yates.
Bob, this is unbelievable. The greatest collection of racing Corvettes ever accumulated in the history of the world.
Our next race, 1956 through 62, GT and production vehicles over 2.5 liters.
This is pretty much a leap back in time, Bob. This could be 1959, 1960, when the SCCA and the Cow Club were running what was called B production races. And it was a contest, for the most part, between Corvettes, a few Ferraris, a couple of Aston Martins. But it was basically a class dominated in those days by Corvettes. And here we are, 40 years later, still dominated by Corvettes.
Joe Freitas in white off to the early lead. You see cars just squealing off the corner, being driven hard here. Oh, we got a guy getting sideways. That's Bob Patterson in black number 9. Looks like maybe the 58 in yellow, Noel Park, got into the back of him. These guys are driving for keeps.
Well, they're always driven for keeps in this kind of racing, and back in the 50s and early 60s, both the small block Corvettes at 283s and 327 Fuelis, they were the training ground for guys like Dan Gurney, Bob Bondurant, and a whole host of great race drivers to come out of the United States. 283 fuel-injected Corvette in 1957 was the car that really electrified sports car enthusiasts, certainly in America and in some cases in Europe.
Back in 7th place, another beautiful example, this one driven by Steve Earle, organizer of the Monterey Historics. It was once handled by Bob Bondurant. Back on track with the 1956 through 62 GT and production cars over 2.5 liters displacement. This is the battle for 4th place. Number 69 is a 1962 Corvette driven by Ken Minella. Up ahead of him is a 56 vet in the hands of Brian Hill. This number 69 was the SCCA B Production Championship winning car in 1964, driven by Frank Dominiani.
Frank Dominiani was not just a good driver, he was also quite a crafty old boy, because in 1962, when he took delivery of this car, it had a 327 cubic inch engine, putting it into SCCA A production racing. But by 1964, that was so dominated, that category, by the 427 cubic inch Cobras, he took out the original engine and slotted in this 283 fuel injected engine, putting it into B production class.
Here's our current leader in the race. Number 59 is a 1959 vet driven by Ron Cressy. He goes around, and that could have been expensive.
Well, that's the notorious turn 11, the last corner, decreasing radius left-hander leading on to the finishing straight here at Laguna Seca, and it's caused a lot of problems over the weekend. In fact, over the years, a lot of people have made the same mistake there.
So he drops from 1st to 2nd.
Here's your leader. That's Ken Epsman in the number 43 Corvette.
On the racetrack. One more corner now for Ken Epsman, and he will take the victory in the class for 1956 through 62 GT and production automobiles of 2.5 liters displacement or more. Checkered flag in the air, and he takes the win.
Just like the old days, because Corvettes of this type dominated B production competition. Interesting that this car is very stock. It's very, very much original. Steve Earle insists on that here at the Monterey Historic.